A show that has been doing well and is reviving is South Park. Like they hadn't done a season in a couple years until they got
Mm-hmm.
their Paramount deal straight, and now, so they usually do an episode a week, but they did that first Trump episode and they took a week off, and I think they took the week off maybe to let it, like you would a good YouTube video, to let it grow and
Mm-hmm.
let it sit out there and be the thing. And they've done it again the second week for the same
Ah,
reason, I think, because so
no,
they
it's because they're rich as fuck and they don't want to make an episode every week. That's why.
well I mean it's in their, I don't know about that. I think they've
If they have
done
to
it
make
for,
an episode a week in their contract, then they've already lapsed on it twice.
I don't think they have to. I'm sure that Paramount is happy with what's going on because the viewership is higher than it's been in like 5 or 6 years or something like that. It's real high. It's like 6 or 7 million an episode or something. And it was funny
Wow.
because Trump was giving them shit. And he's like, "Oh, the failing has been
Mhm.
show of South Park," and it's like, dude, they just signed a gigantic deal. These two are the richest comedians of all time now, the most successful animated show of all time now, the longest running animated show, second only to The Simpsons, right, of all time now. They're
It's
not the ones to pick a fight with. They are the hammer of fucking absurdity that you don't want to run into.
and plus, I think I'm not to say that Trump Streisand affected it. I think is an exaggeration because it was going to get seen, but he helped it.
And then Kristi Noem the second
Sure.
week, of course, like Kristi Noem has tried to lean into it. She's like used her South Park avatar, I think, but she put like laser eyes in it or something like that. But it's like, no, dude, they dunked on you for 20
I saw that,
minutes.
and she didn't even center the laser eyes right. Ridiculous. But also, like, Trump is fucking late to the party because I maintain South Park has not been great since Tegrity Farms.
Yeah,
And that
I
was
disagree with
what
you
year
there.
was that? 17, 18?
Is
Oh,
it good
it-
this year, Taylor? Have you seen it?
I have not watched it. Like, the Tegrity Farm shit turned me off so much from South Park that I really haven't dabbled in.
What is
bet I haven't
Tegrity
seen it.
Farms? I don't know.
It was where they changed the format of the show where now Stan and his parents were no longer in South Park. They were running a weed farm called Tegrity Farms, like integrity as a joke.
Mhm.
And that's when they initially started the overarching plots for the whole season instead of what was previously largely one-off, like, hey, we make these shows week to week. We have a hilarious idea for a premise. Let's flesh out a show from here. And that's when South Park was at its peak, is, you know, those many years where they would just have the impetus, a funny idea, and then they fleshed it out into an episode with no concern about how that would, you know, spread into other episodes. It was when they went for the overarching seasons that South Park fell off.
It's in particular.
Integrity Farms is exactly where that happened.
So I don't mind the overarching seasons, and I don't think it's necessarily linked with Tegrity Farms. I actually like Randy going to
That's what they
Tegrity
started it.
Farms. What I don't like is that when they had all that contract stuff between Paramount, Comedy Central, and maybe Viacom, the parent company, or whoever, and they were doing those specials. So what they did, Woody, is instead of doing like a whole season, they would give them these hour-long specials, and they often centered around Tegrity Farms, and that I didn't love. There's like 4 or 5 of those. There's a pandemic special. There was the woke special where they replaced the guys with like black and brown women, and there's a few different ones. I didn't love all those. There was the streaming one. I didn't like those too much, but I like Randy having a weed farm and being out on the weed farm. It doesn't change the flow of the show at all.
It totally changes the flow of the show, dude.
Because we never really, Randy being a geologist didn't factor into the show really
Stan
at all.
not being around
He's around
Kyle and Cartman as much as he is changes
he's always
the show.
around them. He's always around them. Him being on the farm didn't change any of that at all. They come to the farmhouse and they play Warhammer 40K.
I watched the Tegrity Farm season and it sucked. And this was 2018, I'm checking. And so that's when they made their foray into long,
Do you know what
overarching
number that season is, Taylor?
22nd season 22.
Okay.
So when things went, the problem, when I saw a drop in the show and when I thought the storyline went bad was after. So what they did was they had this whole member berries storyline that was leading up to Trump running for president in 2016. And when he won unexpectedly, it ruined their storyline. because everything had been leading toward a Hillary win and a Trump loss.
Why was it ruined? It was ruined because they were trying to do an overarching plot that involved modern politics instead of doing the fucking tried and true formula.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you about. I'm agreeing with
shit.
you in this one instance. That is where the overarching storyline messed up, because they mispredicted the Trump win, and so they were left with a weird storyline that didn't make sense all of a sudden. They didn't know what to do, because now Mr. Garrison's the president. You know, he wasn't supposed to become president. He was supposed to lose.
Should have kept going week to week.
I don't mind the overarching storylines, except for how the member-berry thing sorted out after Trump won. Then the wheels went off the rails or whatever. I think that's also the season where Kyle's dad is like an online troll named Skank Hunt, and he's just saying the most awful things. He got that the lady has like a double mastectomy, and he's like he's making these jokes about Doctor Where's My Tits or something, or like he makes fun of this woman who had a breast cancer so much she kills herself, and it becomes this whole thing. That season was bad. I didn't like that. I don't mind the overarching storylines though.
I'm not saying that there are no funny moments. Obviously, they're funny guys. There are funny moments in South Park still, I'm sure. It's just that formulaic change that happened, I guess, in 2018 has lessened the show for me. Like, after I watched that Tegrity season, that Tegrity season in 2018, 6-7 years ago, I just kind of lost interest. It was like, these aren't the characters I fell in love with. This isn't the structure that I think is a winner structure. I just don't like it.
I like it even more than the old episodes, because I feel like
that's crazy.
I feel like
no, you're biased. Watch Scott Tenorman Must Die. Watch Canceled. Watch.
Trust me, you don't. I watch so much more South Park than you. Like I probably watched 30 episodes this week. Like, I watch a lot of South Park.
The old episodes are fucking fire.
I go back and watch the whole thing through. I've seen it all many times, and I'm telling you, as we've grown up and matured, our favorite characters, or my favorite characters, used to be Kyle and Stan. And Cartman to a lesser extent. I really liked when he went really off the rails evil. Now it's Stan's dad, Randy. It became Randy as the audience matured and grew up and became men and older men. All of a sudden, I identify more with Randy than I do an 8-year-old foul-mouthed kid. You know, so like, I like the Randy episodes. I like that his story gets to open up and expand, and he's got this weed thing going on. I like the weed stuff.
That's
I like
fine. Randy I like
Towley being in there a lot.
Tally, I can hit or miss, but like, Randy is a hilarious character. The old episode where Randy feels the need that he has to fight every single other dad at the little league games, or otherwise he won't like be a man or something. That's like a great example of a Randy heavy one-off episode. That's hysterical. That's one of my favorite episodes, where he has to fight the Bat Dad.
I love
at
that
the very end. That's hilarious.
Oh, I can't remember Bat Dad's voice. Bat Dad's voice is a celebrity, I think. Who voiced Bat Dad?
I am the Bat Dad.
Yeah, it's Diedrich Bader. It's the guy who does, I'm Rex. Under Rex Kwon Do, you're going to learn the 3 tenets.
It's Rex Kwon Do.
In my 2 years in the octagon, I learned all. It's that guy. He's Bat Dad.
That's funny. And see, that was an excellent episode. It's just when they feel the need to tie in a lot lot they're getting
shit.
to
did you see the Japanese toilet episode?
What
where Randy goes to buy a new toilet called Old Blue, as he calls it, has like given up the ghost. His old toilet has like a wooden seat that's screwed on, and it's all hanging sideways. He buries it like a dead dog. He's like, Old Blue gave us all he could. And he goes to get a new toilet, and he's like, are these all the toilets here? He's like, well, these are all the American toilets. What do you mean? Well, we keep the Japanese toilets in here. He pulls out like a key card. Would you like to take a look? Well, I suppose. And like swipes a card, and they go into like a palace of like decadence that has the Japanese toilets. And he's like, would you like to try one on for size? It's like, oh, could I? And he has this whole scene where he has like a fantastic shit, and he has to take out a loan to bring home a Japanese toilet. And like, I like that episode. Everybody's coming over to shit in his toilet.
That's funny.
There's some good ones. I think you should give it a chance. It's on your Plex, by the way. All this stuff is on Plex.
Maybe I'll watch. Ever since Integrity Farms, it it hasn't been the same.
You
That
make-
is the
You
moment.
make
That is
watching
their
an episode of South Park sound like taking out the garbage.
they
I'll do it in
that
the
is
morning.
I feel like integrity. Maybe people will identify earlier episodes or something, but I feel like the true Armin Tamzarian moment of South Park was Tegrity Farms. Armin Tamzarian being kind of a reference to The Simpsons, where in like season 12 of The Simpsons, they changed something and they said that Principal Skinner was actually not Principal Skinner. He was a guy from the war who pretended to be a guy named Skinner, and his real name was an Armenian dude named Armin Tamzarian. And a lot of people watching The Simpsons at the time said this was kind of that watershed moment where they no longer they jumped the shark. Exactly. And so that's what I see. And that was like, give South Park credit.
30 years ago.
It was 8 seasons further in their run than The Simpsons when they had their real Armin Tamzarian moment where they jumped the shark. And they jumped the shark with Tegrity Farms. And it's never been the same.
I don't like some of the specials, especially like those Paramount 1 hour long specials that are self-contained. I don't like some of those, but I like the episodic stuff, and I don't think Tegrity Farms messes it up. I like because they you didn't lose anything. You just got a new thing. It's not like Randy had these storylines about being a geologist where he was finding mole men under the ground, or he was solving, or he was like predicting earthquakes that were going to make the mini mart fall down, and we need to do X, Y, or Z. He was just, yeah, I'm a geologist. That's what I do. I'm a scientist. It's like, okay, moving along. But now he's like, yeah, I've got a weed farm. I'm in competition with this black guy across the road. He says his weed's like street weed and then people are buying it because he's black, and nobody wants to buy from a white weed seller anymore. And I like all that shit.
It's not that there aren't funny bits. It's just that the show doesn't scratch the itch the same way it used to.
Well, I like it a lot. I think
like Family Guy. Like this isn't unique to South Park. Family Guy has fallen off for many, many years. You go watch old Family Guy. That show's fucking hysterical. It's really, really funny. I know you guys aren't as big on Family Guy.
I am. I've watched so much of it. I feel like it was always kind of just bullshit, and it still is bullshit. It's funny. I don't think it got much less funny because it never was that funny, and it was never funny in a way that was difficult to make funny. All those non sequiturs, all those cutaways. Like, you don't need good writing for that. It's just bit.
That's fair, because Family Guy does have an easier formula to maintain. It's just that the formula itself becomes worse. Like if you pop on a current Family Guy, the jokes are worse, the cutaways are worse, the bits are worse. Like it's just not. I'm sure the reason Family Guy isn't very good anymore is because Seth MacFarlane must have stepped away. He's not nearly as invested in that project.
That's the case. Yeah.